Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and that is the idea of corrections. Not legal or justice corrections, but the kind you find in the stock market, with a note about how the stock market and economics tend to reflect nature in many ways, the organic fluctuations and whatnot. I want to talk a little bit about corrections, such as when a trend goes in one direction, if there's a spike in either direction, up or down, it's said that soon thereafter, and it turns out to be true pretty much every time, there is a correction in the other direction. So this idea is the subject here, not necessarily finance or investments, but the idea that you can predict how risky something is, or how invest worthy, I guess, is something such as, I'm going to give an example. Consider the modern trend of people making a living on the internet. And I say modern, but it kind of is. Like in the last decade or so, it has really become accepted and standard for people, especially women, to make a living with their cameras on the internet. And I want to speak to this for a moment. There's some things on the surface that give this whole idea some properties, some specific properties that can be used as predictors. And I want to cover that just real quick. So consider a woman who is successful in front of a camera, some hypothetical woman, doesn't really matter who, and she starts bringing in money. This happens a lot, and buys herself a house. She's having a successful career, she thinks, online, and paying all her bills. She's living comfortably and safely. Now, this is a worrisome prospect, because there is a feature to this arrangement, a very precarious feature, and that is it takes a tremendous amount of energy to build a house. So just set that on the back burner for a second. The amount of energy and planning that it takes to physically build a house is tremendous compared to, say, turning on a camera, even if you're doing it every day. So also, many of these women are having things delivered, groceries, appliances, all kinds of apparel, sometimes entire gymnasiums, weight systems, dumbbells. Okay, so now there's a question of an ongoing maintenance of energy. Just think about it in terms of energy. How much energy is involved with these activities? And is the thing that is compensating them supposedly in proportion? So you see where I'm going. It's not in proportion. Turning on a camera, using your God-given beauty or whatever, wits or skill or whatever you're broadcasting, is typically not found in proportion to the amount of effort and actual labor that goes into the things that money can buy. So there's a huge concern. There's going to be a correction. You can sense it. You can intuit that there's going to be some kind of correction, if not from public perception to a redesign of the network itself, or the availability of viewers, right? Something's got to give. You can't just have dumbbells delivered and then returned for free every day and not have a cost to that, an actual cost. Somebody's paying. Somebody has to pay, and eventually they're going to stop paying. Whether it's by their own choice or by a failure of the system, that there's going to be a correction. So I would be worried. If I were these women, I would be super worried about my job moving forward, even if they're still young and attractive. And that's another thing, right? How long does that last? I don't know. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just saying it's a departure from nature. It's a departure from the traditional arrangement of having to take a risk and trust somebody, find a mate, and partner with them for the purpose of gaining support, consistency, stability, and hopefully raising some kind of family if you want to. That's not even, that's a departure too, but all those things have been replaced. And I've been mentioning this quite a bit. The needing to find attention from another person, a physical person, has been replaced by the internet. Income, supporting income, paying bills, has been replaced for these women, many of them, by the internet. So if it's being replaced, that means they no longer have a need to even leave their house. Okay, well, God bless you, but I'm concerned about your future. Maybe I care in general about people, and maybe I'm worried that something's going to change, because it's pretty dang clear to me that it's about to, one way or another. So, while you're celebrating your liberty and your wealth and your power, and congratulating yourself on how beautiful you are, and thinking that's the end of it, things change quickly. All you really have to look at is the energy. How much energy is coming in and going out? That's what I'm talking about. So have a great day, and reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.